Jesus Christ.
What?
I didn't hear anything, chat.
Audio was already on. Welcome back to the... Oh my god, I'm just so stuck on that now.
Nailed it.
I think that's our best open.
On every podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Caffeinated Weebs Podcast. This is episode 37, and we're going to talk about Cgi and Anime. So, Psycho, about that penis check, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Oh my god. I'm not ready with that at all.
Oh man, that's pretty good though.
So,
who are you, and who would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh shit, you're right. Thank you.
God damn it!
I'm sorry, we're only 37 episodes in. I mean, you feel like they know by now, but you know what? Hey, I'm Shawnee095. I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Psychometryyy.
And I'm SashasStreams.
But before we get into this episode's discussion, I have a little bit of an announcement to make.
Oh no.
On our most recent YouTube episode, we did a little bit of a poll involving a question that we asked our viewers to submit their answer to in that podcast. We have the results of that survey, and it seems unanimous that people would rather die with their dignity than suck off their killer in hopes of living. So Sasha can suck it.
Hey man, yeah, no, like honestly, fuck it. You know, there is a lot worse things, you know,
that you could possibly do to beg for your life.
Yeah, no, like honestly, if that's all I gotta do, you know, fuck it.
Now, we do want to put a bit of a disclaimer. We didn't get as many answers as we hoped for. So next time, you know, when we can reach a larger audience, a larger data group, we'll be asking this question again to see if our results were as conclusive as they appear.
Bet.
Indeed.
But on to the discussion of CGI and anime.
Yes. So, really, the main thing here is whether or not we believe CGI has any place in anime. And we're going to give some good points and some bad points, you know, blah, blah, blah. The whole 9 yards type of thing. And I think I'm going to start with talking about mechs and anime. Because mechs have, for some reason, just turned to where they are only going into CGI for a lot of it just because it's easier to make them move, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the exact reason why mechs have turned CGI over the past couple years.
There is another side to it. When you're doing, you know, a mecha anime, you know, even back when what was it, Super Sentai was going, a lot of it was practical effects until they started, you know, using full CGI for their Zords and things like that. So, you know, it was a slow, I think, over like the 70s and 80s shift, you know, whereas, you know, in Akira, you know, they pretty much hand animate this crazy kind of shit, which, you know, takes a lot of, you know, time, have to make a lot of frames, pay a lot of animators. But with a CGI, you know, it's easier to rig. Sometimes it does just plain look better, and it gives more depth to the model. You know, I'll say, you know, in some animes, like, I'm not sure if I'm misremembering Big O or not. I'm gonna have to check in on this, but if I remember correctly, Big O was almost solely portrayed with CGI model, and it actually made it kind of cool because it was, you know, just dark on a dark background. It was more of a stylistic choice than anything.
I could have sworn Big O was drawn.
I might be wrong. Let me. If I am, I will absolutely apologize.
But definitely CGI in certain contexts here, especially in mecha anime,
they had some
particularly useful because when you think about the fact that animation to this day is still mostly just a mixture of hand-drawn techniques as well as our modern computer techniques, it would be a lot faster and require less manpower to animate a 3D model than to hand draw how a mech would behave on, how it is on art boards and frames and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and Big O was drawn.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But I think there was. I think I'm just remembering like I believe they did use it at some point, and I think that's just burned into my memory. But in stuff like what was it? Gurren Lagann. That was actually used to a pretty decent degree. Granted, it was just for like drills and shit like that, but it was some real primo visual designs.
My drill is the drill that will pierce the heavens.
Exactly. Like it can be used to give a lot of depth, and I guess this is where we get into my side of the argument, in that I think as long as it serves the medium, you should use literally whatever is at your disposal. As long as it's there to elevate and make your product better, more visually sound, sometimes even more cost effective. A lot of, animation projects have just been shit canned because, they don't have enough money to pay all the animators. So, if it's whether it's a stylistic choice or it is just a slight issue due to money, as long as it's not X-Arm, because I have seen, like, I think I remember you guys posting one of the trailers or something in here in the group chat.
We were posting. What we did, chat, was we were posting images of X-Arm, and we were also trying to see how long we could sit through an episode without just closing the entire browser entirely.
Yeeting the computer out the window.
Out of existence. What was it? Some of us had previous records of like 7 minutes. Some of us only sat in for like a few seconds and realized what they were getting into and immediately got out of there.
10 minutes.
But yeah, as long as it serves the medium, like K as well. K, they didn't overdo it. It was used for simple visual tricks, or like the Swords of Damocles, which are supposed to be crazy, visually striking, and stand out.
Arguably, they could have done that in 2D animation, though.
I mean, yeah, it could have been absolutely done in 2D animation.
I didn't think it was too complex.
No, it's not too complex, but stylized, I think I like it better that way, because like seeing it on the page, when you're looking at it in all of the visual novels, stuff like that, it's not bad. It's a decent design, but it's brought out more by the crumbling look and feel that you can get from CGI. But yeah, no, it's all due to intent. It's, if they're just being lazy and doing it, and it's just, an obvious shit show that they're just trying to make cheaply, whatever.
Definitely.
One of the worst things that they do, one of the worst things they do with CGI is when they're just being lazy with like a crowd of people. And oh my god, dude, you see that just crowd, like where you can see literally the exact same model multiple places throughout the crowd. It is so lazy. And you'll just see like main character, not even sometimes, it's just literally just a little filler crowd walking by.
You know what is funny I've heard though is that this has only occurred so far in Japanese animation. Apparently in Chinese animation, when they do CGI crowds, they've actually been doing it pretty well. So I don't know what it is with Japanese and their use of the technology, but it doesn't sound like they quite know what they're doing.
Am I remembering correctly? But I think also they used it for the Castlevania series, didn't they?
CGI?
Netflix's Castlevania.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean,
Yeah, some of the
Netflix
monsters
is.
and things I think were made in CGI, which again, I like that as a stylistic choice.
I literally have not watched the new Berserk. I say new loosely, just because of the immense amount of CGI.
Are you talking about Egg of the King?
Sure.
The what?
Berserk has a
The
couple
newer
of different.
release.
It had two different adaptations, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
The old one, and then the new one that came out in 2017 and 2018, which are affectionately called Berserk 2017 and 2018. So
I think it is Egg of the King. I'm almost sure of it.
I don't know the names of the arcs that it covers, though. God, I wanted to
Berserk Age
that.
1 Golden Arc.
Yeah. That was the old one, Golden Arc.
Yeah, and I like that. They did do a good job with the animation part, but the ones that were full CGI, fuck me, that was actually really rough.
See, because I wanted to include it together with my roast of X-Arm and
my bad.
Together Berserk together with my roast of X-Arm, because it was weird seeing two different dichotomies of bad CGI anime. Berserk was both a mixture of bad CGI anime and bad sound design. If you've heard, did you hear Guts' Sword? What they did to it with the sound design there. It sounds like a frying pan smashing against another frying pan. Right?
Jesus.
So it's like,
yeah,
Berserk had that going for it, but then X-Arm was bad CGI mixed in with being a bad anime.
What was that one you were like the one that GoHands did before K?
Oh, Handshakers
and WZ.
Yeah. Didn't that also have some really shit CGI in it?
Yes.
Oh, everybody who watched that now has a fear of CGI chains. Right? Like, dear God, what did you do?
it was a little rough. Even the practical animation, what little there was
I couldn't even watch Handshakers just because the CGI chains that they did like somehow triggered like my trypophobia.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, it made me feel all sorts of bad things watching it. So I was like, no, I can't watch this, bro.
Yeah. It was not a good watch. From what little I watched of it, it's like,
but that's the thing we've seen, right, with CGI and anime, is when it's used sparingly, it's good, and it subverts our expectations of that anime, because we go into it thinking it's going to be, fully hand drawn, and then we see something competently done well, whether it's in an action scene, whether it's the background, and we're like, oh, well, that was really cool. I think that enhanced our experience. But when it tries to use full 3D CGI as a gimmick to say, hey, we did it, rarely does it ever work out. We saw it work well in Land of the Lustrous, right? And that's the only one I can name off the top of my head where it worked. Everything else was absolute shit, or was close to being absolute shit. Right?
Yeah, I can't really think of any off the top of my head that, then again, I can't even really think of any that I've seen that have been full CGI. I think about it on further reflection.
It almost makes you wonder what's so alluring about it. It's like people are trying to race to be the first one that everybody flocks to, when they think of CGI, 3D CGI anime. Everybody wants to be the one that everybody respects. And I think Land of the Lustrous has already claimed that title, so what the fuck, everybody? What do you up your game? Why are you still trying, right?
I'm going to be honest.
The
Land of the Lustrous
video game.
I don't like how it looks.
Yeah, and as Sean here is the man who does not enjoy any amount of full 3D CGI.
I don't like what they did with the whole like gem hair or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know.
A lot of people actually like that. A lot of people like that for that anime. I haven't watched it personally, so I can't comment too much on it. All I know is I know based on the reactions, all the people liked it and said it was competently done. It was the first of its kind. That kind of whole jazz. Which is why I still don't get, like, repeating back to what I was saying, like, I don't get the allure behind wanting to do it in full 3D when you know how easily it can backfire. Like,
Those
why
character
is it that
designs
people
make
are
me
always so
uncomfortable.
trying so hard? When X-Arm came out, that anime said full on, we're declaring war on all sci-fi series in the world, right? Like, they boldly come out with a statement, hyping everybody's expectations up. And what did it do? Fell flat on its face. And it's like, this is something they could have seen coming a mile away, right? Based on the Berserk adaptations in 2017 and 2018, based on, Studio Gohan's work. It's like,
Hey, but they brought it back with K.
they brought it back with K, and I heard the new one they did is not bad, which by Studio Gohan's gendered means it's pretty good. Right.
I mean, yeah, their bar for shit is actually pretty good.
Right, yeah. So it's like, well, what was I talking about? God damn it. So it's like, when you know how easily it can fall flat on your face, why do you still try to go the full 9 yards? It's like, why didn't you why wasn't there some signal indicator at some point to halt the project and say, okay, we need to step back and we need to look at it again straight from the ground up, right? Rebuild our entire understanding of how we want to build this anime. Like, keep in mind, the studio that went behind XR, they have never done any anime before.
Oof,
right?
and yeah, and their first...
This was their very first go around, and immediately their first reaction was full 3D CGI anime.
Let's do the hardest thing that there is to do.
What I understand, right, is that the reason behind this is because some of their key animators, or people who've worked on stuff, were people who did stuff in like Nier Automata, right? And that stuff was really good. So I think the reason they went with a full 3D look was because if they did the animations, right, their crew would be comfortable working with that kind of software. Their crew would be comfortable working with that kind of design process. We can see how well that went.
Yeah, not very.
So, at least to bring this whole point around, not to shit too hard on all these animes, because I already went on for a few minutes, is to say that if you use it for a very specific purpose, it is good. If you're trying to use it in a full-on, just for the novelty of it, without having any real passion for it, it doesn't work. It becomes very noticeable when it's half-assed, or when it becomes apparent that you don't know what you're doing. Easily shows in your work for full 3D anime.
Oh
yeah,
I don't. The biggest thing for it, just like, if you're gonna go with it, like, and if you're gonna go full CGI, make sure, like, literally everything is done in CGI. Like, it works with mechs and everything with like the CGI and 2D, but like a lot of other times, like especially X-Arm, whenever you literally have a character that's fucking CGI and another one that's 2D right next to each other, like, what the fuck were you thinking? First off, it just doesn't work.
You really kind of wonder how many levels of incompetency went into X-Arm, because it's like, I imagine when any kind of like movie or anime is being done, right, there's a review process. There is a process where real humans sit down and watch what they do.
Like, who thought that, like, this is fine, yeah, first 5 minutes of the anime, like, I'll check it off.
Ship it.
Like, what?
Because they realized at some point it's terrible, but they've already sunk too much into it, so they were like,
like,
gotta go ahead with this.
The editor probably just looked at it and was like, oh, fuck, this is how much money we spent.
He was just like, he had a bottle of whiskey by his desk and he was just like, what have we done?
Just chugs the bottle like, shit.
Yes, bottle of whiskey. Bottle of whiskey by desk.
God damn it, Sean.
It's what he needs to get through to edit the podcast. No, I'm joking.
That's how I make it through some of my days.
It's just like from the very start of production all the way to what I believe there was a review process. Why were there so many levels of incompetency and no stopping points where they could have went halt the project before we dump too much money and resource into this, right?
We have to figure out where we fucked up.
And even from like the developmental standpoint, when they understood that everyone they were working with didn't have anime experience, why didn't they bring on people who worked on anime?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say because from what we've seen with how they've animated it, it didn't look like even the 3D animators knew what they were doing, right? But then at the very least, they could have brought in people who understood how anime is designed, how it's paced, how it's portrayed. Like, there are no indicators anywhere in this anime that people who watched anime worked on this.
Yeah, because anybody with any real passion would have looked at it and been like, what are we doing?
I think it's not good enough. It's not acceptable to let them get away with it because they haven't had any experience working on anime. Because you must have at least seen anime if you have such a desire to make anime. You would have known how it looked, how it, how it's designed, how it's supposed to look on screen. So it's like, how did this come to happen?
Some degree of competency, yeah.
I mean, because I it's very hard to just think that everybody on that project just had such shit taste in anime that they were like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Everybody's gonna love this shit, dude.
Like, I feel like since so many people in that project were from Nier Automata, they were just like, yeah, we can make something just like Nier Automata and it'll be great. I mean, one of the characters literally design is just like 2B, so right? Fucking no-brainer. Really looked like they were just trying to copy their homework and see if anybody would notice.
No, but honestly, Josh, yeah, that's the big issue. Like, for some reason, the CGI had like a normal frame rate in it, but then when you get to the 2D characters, there was like a literal low frame rate with how they talked and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It was not right.
Some parts of the 3D had a few janky frame rates here and there.
Oh god,
it was weird from a technical standpoint.
How do you fuck up your own frame rate?
Too many duplications. Too many duplications.
They borrowed my computer real quick to render it. That's why. They're like, hey man, all our computers are currently busy. Can we borrow yours real quick? We'll slide you a little cash under the table. I'm like, say no more, man.
Big bet. Let's go. Well, okay, I will like move away from like just complete dogging on CGI because I do have like a couple of good ones. Honestly.
Okay. Yeah. Like, let's bring in some positive points.
Like, I don't know if y'all have watched this, but Netflix actually does have like a little bit of a good slice of life gem. That's CGI, and it's called High Score Girl.
Ooh, I heard about this one actually.
Yeah, I don't watch slice of life, so sorry about.
It's really good, honestly. Like, it's a good like story. I really like it, and it's, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's actually China made, so that's like the biggest thing.
Once again, showing anyone who's not Japan touching CGI anime. Perfection.
Talk about heartbreaking as well. Oh yeah, no, Josh, honestly, yeah. It's a good story. It's got its sad points in it though, but it's basically about these two characters who are like, their whole reason for like meeting each other was like playing video games, and the whole anime like takes place with like arcades popping up and everything, and playing Street Fighter, all the OG games, and they would always meet up at the arcades, play. But like the animation style on it, like in the CG, it's really cool because even though you literally see the characters from the games. Like they bring the characters into the real life of the anime, and like he talks to his main character, and I do not remember the character's name from Street Fighter. The yellow hair one,
Guile.
Guile. Yes, like that's his main character, and like he talks to him like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They literally talk to each other in a way.
What the fuck?
Because like that's his main, you know. Do you not connect to your main on a personal level? He does.
This is the one I poured all my heart and soul into.
And even though the main character, like the girl, she doesn't say shit. She literally does. I don't think she said a word in the first 2 seasons so far.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's such like a good story, but like the CGI and it's really clean, and it has its moments, but it's really cool. Like
the characters don't emote like fucking robots.
Exactly. He was also quoting facts about the games.
I think it's very easy to see when CGI it's done well. It's when if for starters, you know, going back to X-Arm, it's when your characters first of all can emote like a character, like a human. If you
may look like human.
Fuck, I just gave a little anime
when they
synopsis.
can
I didn't even talk
wiggle
about
their
CGI.
eyebrows or like close their eyes halfway to make a certain expression. It's like when you can differentiate, when you can take the viewer out of the fact that they're watching a full 3D CG anime with the fact that it still looks like they're watching, you know, characters with actual emotion, then, you know, you can get away with it. It's just, I don't know if it's because Japan has a hard time working with the technology. Maybe they don't have a lot of experience like 3D animators, which I highly doubt. But it's like, or maybe they don't have the budget for it. That could be it. Not the people they're paying for to do their work aren't as experienced with doing it. It's just like, it's not difficult to make 3D CG anime look good, at least in my opinion. It's just, are you willing to sink in the effort and the resources? That's all.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's as long as there's heart put into it. It's these people just do passionless garbage.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it could be, you know, they don't want to sink in the time to learning it. Like, from what I'd seen, at least in the example of Studio Gohan's, is their whole take on it was kind of, we'll fuck around and hopefully learn on the way. Because, you know, every work they do progressively gets better. They learn from the last one always. But it's like, why don't you have a good jumping off point? Why didn't you start with having the people that you want to do 3D animation and all that competently learn what the programs they're working with?
They didn't learn that we wanted more fucking seasons of it.
At the very least, right? If everyone else is doing it right, why not outsource it?
So real quick side thing, I did find the K side stories. The K, it's like 7 movies.
Oh,
wait, what?
Yeah, there's like 7 movies, like all ranging from like 49 minutes to like an hour and a half. There's like 7 of them, I believe.
So they're like OVAs?
Yeah.
Oh my. This
More
I didn't know
K
about.
to consume. Isn't this what you wanted?
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll give you that later.
I really wish they would just bring it back. It is one of the, you know, examples of just good CGI. Like, I enjoy it. I wish they'd come back. The fuck?
I think having said all of that, I think we can now appropriately lead into our discussion then. Based on everything we've talked about then, do we think full 3D CGI anime has a place in the industry?
Oh, you mean like full 3D CGI?
We need an X-Arm, a Berserk 2017.
Oh,
No. We can't say X-Arm because that has 2D in it. I will say that. I will give it that because there's also shitty 2D in it. No, there's a lot of shitty 2D in it. A lot.
Oh, yes.
If it's just 2D anime, like if it's just 3D animation, that's a little harder of a sell for me, because at that point I don't know if it should really be considered anime. But my answer still stands of, as long as you are creating some, artwork with passion, use whatever medium you prefer, as long as it brings something to the table.
I mean, Beastars was great. High School Girl's great. Those are like literally the two. Dude, I'm sorry. Beastars is actually a really good story. I don't give a damn.
Sasha, like, fuck your opinion, Sean.
Dorohedoro was really good. I mean, those are all great. And I know Josh was, Dorohedoro, I really enjoyed, actually.
I didn't know that.
Josh was going to talk about Final Fantasy, was saying, Gantz, the Resident Evil movies.
Ooh, Gantz. Holy shit, how could I fucking forget about Gantz? Okay, sorry, side tangent. Like, a little pin in that. Gantz, while being a shitty anime, while then, emulating a really good, a manga storyline, it had some real good use of CGI. And, as gratuitous as the anime is, it's literally mostly just there to show you blood, gore, and tits. The true man's cocktail of good anime. But, as trite of shit as it was, all of the CGI that it used was to really good effect. Like, porting characters in, scan line by scan line, or, weapons and even aliens. It's all used at least maybe while not masterfully, it was used to a very good, it was used in good conjunction with the traditional animation that they had on. And I don't know if you guys seen the Gantz movie that came out. God, that must have been 2018.
I have not. I know what you're talking about, though.
But yeah, it was actually a full CG anime, now that I think about it. And it actually, that was actually pretty decent on my memory. It was a little, off with the story. It wasn't quite what it was supposed to be. I think they changed the story up a little bit, but that it was actually really well done, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, but to go back to the question, where it's like, okay, we don't include X-Arm for the 5 or so minutes it has in total.
No. There is a lot of 2D elements in it. Like, I'm serious, there is.
I saw once in the first introductory episode where he's watching a girl get, like, assaulted, and she's 2D, but they have her, like, slide,
the
like,
brother's 2D. Yeah.
The
Oh my god,
the brother being 2D while he's, like, fucking flipping a walk.
And then whenever they go into the future and he's inside the X-Arm body or whatever the hell it is, a lot of those soldiers were 2D.
Few minutes where there is 2D, and we're only talking about, like, Berserk, Land of the Lustrous, like Beastars. Does 3D anime, full 3D anime, have a place?
Yes,
I'll say yes.
All right, but before we continue, since we have 2 yeses, I'm gonna go with a hard no. Here's why. Anime had only gotten, more and more progressively better through the years because our way of approaching 2D anime has gotten better, right? Yeah, instead of doing cell shading, like literal cells that they had to take pictures of, we switched to software so that people can comfortably appoint limbs and stuff to more comfortably animate instead of having to draw every frame. They could slightly move things with layers, with virtual layers. And how they've improved 2D animation in the time is they've incorporated 3D elements, and with every year that they understand more and more about what they can incorporate, it has been good. The problem is when they try to go full 3D, there is too much of it that they don't understand, and I arguably think doesn't work with an anime style and an anime budget, right? I make this distinction very clear because here's the thing. Lupin the Third recently the movie came out and it looked fantastic, right? It has that Lupin style, the artwork, it stays very faithful to it, but it's full 3D. It looks nothing like the anime of the old, but I think it looks fantastic because it has the proper budget, it has the proper animators, it has the proper people with experience in their field working on it. So that is fine. But anime doesn't have that same luxury. They have to cut corners where they can. And that becomes very apparent, right? And if I remember correctly, like even like Land of the Illustrious, Beastars, those were still with a Netflix budget. Netflix gave a lot of money when they were investing in their animes because they wanted what they were putting out there on the front page to be good. They weren't going to allow any shit on there.
Yeah, well, at least at that point.
So that's what I mean. It's with the fact that 3D animating 3D is always going to be different than animating 2D. There's always going to be limitations with it, right? You can't have it look exactly the way you want to do as someone could do with a pen and pencil. And the fact that this is all very new to Japanese studios doing anime. I argue this is probably a good stopping point. You had one good run and everyone else around you has already done better. Why don't you keep enhancing what you can already do well instead of trying to hop aboard this train that everybody's on? Because all you've been producing so far is shit.
Fair. Yeah.
Now, your defense?
But while that is true, I agree with you on that it shouldn't be done on an anime budget because traditionally with anime you're trying to stretch out over a season. You're trying to make a season or multiple, so you're making a longer series. But if you're doing CGI, the longer that goes on, the more and more expensive that gets. The more models you need, more animators you need, things like that, the more ridiculous it gets. So I can definitely understand that, keeping it to more of like movies and special events kind of things to help propel the anime itself forward. But I think as long as it's used I guess a full CGI, series would be hard to justify. If it did work, it would be, an absolute pinnacle. It'd be insane. I think as much as I like to, poke fun at Beastars being furry shit, people have done really people love that shit. It's gotten really big. And what is it going on like a second or third season now?
It's going to be getting a second season, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it works, but it has to be done on a very expensive, near inexhaustible budget. But I think as long as you give it the amount of time that it needs to cook and, give it the proper staffing, as long as the money allows and you think it's a sound enough thing for your vision, go for it.
Definitely. Shit, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
I went off on a tangent there.
No, but you're not wrong though. That's the thing. Like, if the money allows it and the time allows it, then yes, it can actually be something well done. But if the money's not there,
like shit.
No, I mean, fuck off. It was one time, all right. Jeez. But
and
like, honestly,
the second time when the second season comes out.
Yeah, and But yeah, so as long as like the money is there, like you just said, and they've given the time to actually do like the great thing with the anime and the CGI with it, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, it's just I don't know, like there's still something about the whole Berserk thing I just can't do. And we talked about it briefly prior, but and I know this is like complete side tangent, but we talked about like the JoJo openings, like for like Stardust
right.
Crusaders and everything. They had all the CGI in the openings, and those things looked great. But when I got to the actual, until I got to the actual anime, there's no CGI in it. It's perfect the way it is. Because I really don't like my JoJo's CGI, but for the OPs and everything, perfect amount of CGI. So like, there's like a give and take with it, with a lot of different things. Like for Beastars, there's the OP that they have for the anime where they're claymation. I do not care for it. I do not give a rat's ass for it. But hey, some people like it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like it's a hit or miss. But and CGI unfortunately does have a lot of misses.
So here are the conclusions that I've kind of drawn from our discussion here. If you want to do CGI anime, like full 3D CGI anime, there are about two ways you go about it. Don't let Japan do it. Because everyone else has done it much better. Or you need a big budget, a lot of time, a lot of people working on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As a side note, wonder what a full CGI anime would look like if they did all of it in Unreal Engine.
Oh God, I don't know. Which one? 4 looks like trash right now.
Unreal Engine 3 we're up to? Unreal Engine 4.
We're up to 4, and 4 looks like shit.
No, man, they did Kingdom Hearts and
Dude,
Unreal Engine.
I'll tell you right now, there's 2 animes out there right now that straight up look like they're taken from VR chat.
Oof.
No, I am dead ass serious. There are 2 like shorts animes that they have out there.
You're not confusing yourself with that one VTuber stream that you saw once, right?
No, I'm not.
So when we get them VTuber avatars, boys.
Shit, next week, totally.
Next week, let's do.
Think about it. Mine's gonna have an eye patch over his left eye. It's gonna be great.
That's where all your power is stored.
Oh yeah.
I'll have it like if I unveil it, it'll like turn red and everything. It'll be great.
It'll just glow.
Fucking Mega Man.
That'd be great.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, there's 2 CGI animes where I am serious. It looks like it's taken straight from VR chat. Like there's a point where the characters are trying to clap. Like they're trying to straight up clap. And like they're doing it like this, super awkward, and it's just like
they don't even touch. It's like that much space. They're like,
I mean, that's how it works in fucking VR chat. You smack your controllers together.
I'm just like, did they really not do this? Like,
also, I posted it in memes.
Devil's Advocate here. 2D
I thought about VTuber
does suffer in Japan as well. Kabanari started looking
that is the
beautifully
only way
in the first episode, and at the end, just as bad as at the train they were riding.
Oh,
so it most likely all falls down.
I mean, that's the only way I would
yeah.
ever consider getting an actual like camera and doing shit like that.
You heard it first, audience. You want to see what Sasha looks like? Get him a VTuber model.
It's the closest you're getting.
We'll make our own anime here, the Caffeinated Weebs Anime, bro.
God damn it!
Okay, we couldn't get a good full 3D anime. We'll make one ourselves. Let's do it.
So that's what the models look like when it's zoomed out. Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, Jesus, the fucking fist size. Oh my god.
Fist, look at his arm.
Wait. I gotta
Oh,
save this for the YouTube
shit.
edit. Oh, that's funny. What did they do to those hands?
Man's
Bro.
hands. And Jolene too.
Saving that. That's a save.
Or she's eyes arm.
It's okay. It's crushed just like his actual body.
Oh, fucking hell. I love it.
Okay. Well, unless y'all have anything y'all want to talk about, we're at 45 minutes roughly.
No.
Hey, you think the next full 3D anime is just going to be VTubers?
God, I hope not.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like what? Like some fucked up kind of like actings. Oh no.
Well, here's the thing. VTubers, at least the good ones, right? Like the ones that are listed like Hololive and stuff, they're good at acting because they play all the time.
I mean, yeah,
they're very, they definitely always have that self-awareness of that they're supposed to be a character. So
right.
I'd argue they're actually pretty good actors.
Well, right, but I mean, at that point, it would just be like, you know, a movie, but with, you know, voice actors.
I don't know, man. Stick all your VTuber actors in a room, and
I mean, I'm sure you'd get a decent like fucking comedy out of it. I mean, we already do.
Yeah, it's like I already do, so why not just make an anime about it? Hell yeah.
God damn it. I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah, I guess that is. Well, the YouTube audience who's watching, we're going to leave a poll and see what your opinions are. Do you think we should have more full 3D CGI anime, or you think Yamete Kudasai?
Yamete Kudasai.
Yamera.
God
It's
damn
one of
it.
my favorite games.
So in like 15 episodes, then you'll put that straw poll
out. yeah, audience, if you're not aware, our YouTube is behind by like
a lot.
15 episodes.
I slacked hard on YouTube, and since Psycho has joined, he has gratefully helped me out with all this.
But we haven't made any advancements since it is still a weekly upload thing. But on the bright side, if we ever like disappear for like 4 months,
we'll still
the YouTube will be fine.
The YouTube's still gonna be active.
YouTube will actually finally catch up.
Because I heard about this on the Trash Taste podcast, and I love their philosophy, where it's like they have like a month's worth of content, like 1 or 2 months worth of content, not edited but prepared, so that if they ever need to go on a vacation, because they also have editors, if they ever need to go to vacation, their channels are still active.
Yeah.
So it's kind of smart in my opinion. We're just taking that to the extreme by having 10 whole episodes behind it.
On the podcast side, not so much.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sasha, I'm gonna change it up on you.
Oh.
What's our Twitter?
At Weebs Podcast.
Bet. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Psycho. What is our YouTube?
You can watch us on YouTube and interact with anything we've added onto it at Caffeinated Weebs.
Hell yeah. I feel like you looked at something, but I'm just gonna ignore it.
Where we go, Tony? I'll give a second. God.
What?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
All right. Sasha.
Yeah.
What is the Twitch?
Twitch TV / Caffeinated Weebs. Isn't it? Caffeinated Weebs Podcast.
Caffeinated Weebs Podcast. There you go.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you can watch us live.
You spring
see all these funny reactions. Also for the
fuck.
Twitch audience, ever since I've joined, I've also been cutting out anytime we do extensive Twitch interactions. So this is the only place you're going to catch those.
Yep.
Also, we will
Fuck.
be playing video games here.
Yeah, so you will be playing video games. I'm trying to fix my Google. It's taking a massive shit right now.
Hot?
Not so hot, I must say. I am not happy about that right now.
Maybe I'll just shell out the extra bucks to get a fucking VTube mod.
But
Bro, I'm prepared for it. If I ever have that much disposable income, I'm dropping a VTuber model. Then I'll stream all the time.
Yeah,
I get so conscious sometimes about streaming, right?
I'd never
Because
stream.
like I look like a mess or whatever, and so I'm like, if I get a VTuber model, I'm so
bro,
lit. I
dude,
get to play a character
do you
all the
think I
time.
look like I prepare to actually be on camera?
Yeah, but you
Dude,
look fine. Even
This
if you
is
don't.
literally just a fucking random short sleeve hoodie I just tossed on.
Though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what Connor does.
Show a
now.
little bit of skin, you know?
That's what
But-
CDog VA looks like all the time too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so then what's the big deal? Anyways,
Oh,
we have a Reddit where you can talk to us, add some ideas for future episodes, you know, chat it up. You know, I'm doing a real shit job at Josh's part because, you know, I just always shit on him
We're
and
Reddit
just
boomers.
take him, let him take control of whatever it is. Anyways, that is r/Caffeinated Weebs. Join the discussion. I'm trying to think. We did the YouTube, the Twitter, the Reddit, Twitch.
This
we
is just
covered
regular
everything.
podcast
So
up there,
where
huh?
else can we listen? They listen
And-
to us, Sean?
Yes, mine. You can listen to us on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify. Just look up Caffeinated Weebs Podcast. You can find us at other locations because I found us on many other places that we do not have listed, but that is neither here nor there. Anyways,
You know,
once
in the
again,
future, Sean's gonna like pass that whole read to like one of us and sit back and see how badly we fumble it.
Mhm,
Oh, absolutely.
mhm.
Have to have that shit like
Bound to
written out
happen.
in a script.
And anyways, this was episode 37. We're getting so close to like the full year mark. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking hype when we actually hit that year mark.
Hey.
Where we talked about Cgi and Anime today and how we feel about it.
And give us big ideas for an anniversary special.
We're getting there, so do it.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
us some
would be-
ideas.
Do it now.
Redo the first topic.
Oh, so you want to redo Shield Hero? Bet.
Wait, fuck, was that the first thing we did?
All right, guys.
Nah,
See y'all
redo it
later.
like it was our special. Here we go.
Fuck no. Not on your life.
See y'all later. We'll be back with some games later.
Wait. God damn it.